We're tired. Now listen to me. We're tired. We're tired of hearing presidents and mayors and police chiefs and people in the city council and all those people. Not that some of them don't have good ideas, but we're tired of hearing you talk. You got to hear us talk before we can make anything work, because you never listen to us. And this has nothing to do with politics. Do not bring politics into this. Do not bring politics into this. There are no Democrats and there are no Republicans. There are people. And that's what we're dealing with. Every white person needs to know this, because I'm going to say something here. And like I said, I'm going to say things you like and you don't like. But I'm saying everything that I'm saying is true. Okay, no exaggeration or anything like that. There's not a single solitary, even Jane Elliott, and I love Jane Elliott. And if you don't know who she is, remember the name and look for her. She's a white lady, an educator. Even her, there's not a single white person in this country of America that knows how we feel. And if any, whether I love you, whether you love me, whether you're my friend or my friend, do not tell me you know how I feel, because I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm going to tell you how we feel. We're going to tell you how we feel, because that's what's important. That's what racism is all about. Racism is not a word. Racism is how someone feels. That's what it really is. And let me tell you, racism feels terrible. It's the worst feeling in the world, because it comes and it goes, and it comes and it goes. But even when it goes, guess what? It's never gone. Still, it's always with you, because life can be fine. I could be driving a big giant car out there and have a great job and making $150,000 a year. But guess what? Every time I get in my car and I drive down the street and the police comes and I'm not doing anything, I know that if he wants to, he can look at me and not like the way I look, not like what he hears coming out of my car, and he can stop me and take me downtown and do whatever he wants. He can lose me. And then after they lose me, guess what? They can get away with that. Talk about living in Portland. That's living in this world. That's the kind of thing. But again, let me go back and say, we're here because we want people not just to know what racism feels like, but even until you know what really is going on within your own self. And you might think, how am I going to tell you what's going on? I'm going to show you. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to tell you what's going on, because you don't really always know what's going on. Why? Because George Floyd, let's just go there. George Floyd. It's the last time I want to hear a name like his or mine or anybody else's name behind the wanton killing of a precious human being, no matter who they are. But we're talking black ones right now, by some deranged human being who is backed by a system that wants so bad right now to tell you and me and everybody that he didn't mean to do it. And here's the thing, you know that we hear what you're saying, and you don't care what we think. Well, guess what? Here's how we're going into this. If you don't start caring what happened with George Floyd, and it's not just about George Floyd, he's the last. And when I say the last, he's the last. You're going to find out why in this conversation, why he needs to be the last one. But we're talking about George Floyd and everything that's happened to every single one of us in the way of racism and bias from the beginning of time, since the first one of us set our foot on this soil. It's all those things. See, here's what media wants you to think. Media wants you to think it's Floyd. Media wants you to think it's the ones that happened just before him, each one, because if media can get us to narrow it down to one, then media can sooner or later make us forget it. But media needs to understand that that's not going to happen this time, because now everything that's happened for 200 years, or how many years, it's coming up. Even people like me who are peaceful and want to be peaceful, It's coming up, and we are not going to go away anymore. Anymore. Let me say this before I go any further, too. For all you that are out there protesting, I'm going to say it to all you white people that are doing it. I love you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I can pay love. I love you because we need that because it's injustice. Guess what? Like Martin Luther King said, injustice to anyone is injustice to everyone. And right now, those that are biased and prejudiced are the biggest destroyer of this country than anything because you're only thinking about yourself and you're not realizing everything you do to hold us down is holding you back. Might not be holding you down. Here's why it holds you back. Because if you have to guard me every day and every night just to monitor me because you don't like me, guess who doesn't sleep? You don't. Is that happiness? Is that peace? Is that joy? Think about it. You really need to think about these things. But that's the way it goes. There's a big question that I have, and my wife and I, we talked about a week ago. And funny thing, I'm not really one who likes it when I see athletes say things in the media and then people jump on it. But if people like you and me say things, nobody says anything about it. In this case, I'm going to give big ups to LeBron James because he asked a question, the most important question, and that is, why do you hate me? Why do you hate me? See, I don't want from any white person to tell me, any white person who's prejudiced, who knows they're prejudiced, who thinks it's cool to be prejudiced. I don't even want you to tell me why you hate me because guess what? You don't know why you hate me. How you gonna know how you hate me if you don't know me? Mm-hmm. I don't hate you. I know you're prejudiced, but I don't hate you because I don't know you.
Just like Derek was saying, you need to listen because you don't know. You know, that's just like if somebody was to say, I know how you feel. No, you don't. How you going to tell me how I feel? Because you haven't listened to me. This goes way back and it's getting worse. It's like people will say, what do you want me to call you? African American, Black African American, or Black? I said, you call me Regina. I have a name. Quit looking at my color. Um, I I see all kind of people, and then people in our people that we've have met in our nonprofit, even homeless people. People are crying out because they don't know what to do. First of all, you need to give yourself to the Lord.
That's the first thing.
You know, give it to Him because there's blackness. People want to see the light, and sometimes when people see you, they'll say, "I want what you have."
Right now, I want to address all those of you that love me and love people like me and love everybody like we love everybody. Those are the one of you I address. But there's many of you that believe you don't have any prejudice in your body. Guess what? Almost all of you do. We were even prejudiced. I used to be prejudiced myself. But guess how it's really simple not to be prejudiced. And here's how. Guess what? I wish I had a drum roll so you could get this. Get to know people. Wow, big revelation, right? No, it's easy to get to know people. That's how my prejudice left. Why did I have my prejudice? Is because of things I saw, heard, and read about when I grew up. I grew up seeing pictures of people who look like me, people who look like my wife, people who look like Floyd and other people in piles, burnt, hung with people that look like you standing around them, laughing and smiling and eating hot dogs and whatever else they were doing. That's why I was prejudiced. But like I said, there came a point in my life when I got to know you and I realized you're like me and I'm like you. And there is no difference. I grew up in a household where my mother's black as coal and my father's white as any of you. Okay? How could I be prejudiced? I was, like I say. But I only say that to say that people are people. The color of my skin, the color of your skin should never matter to anybody about anything. I said a joke yesterday to somebody. We were in a meeting, and I said, the only time we should talk about the color of somebody's skin is if I look at you or you look at me and say, wow, cool tan, or something like that. We all have names.
Every job that I've worked, majority of the job, I'm basically the only one of color. A good example. There's this one place that I worked at, and my the lady that I work with, she was all nervous and everything because, a few people of color came in there, they couldn't do the job, they messed everything up. So I was determined, and that's on every job, to learn this job and to get it down because she was going on vacation. So she told me, I said, okay, I got it. But I'm telling you, I stayed up nights, okay, this goes here, and I mastered it. And she told me before she went on vacation, what you can't figure out, just put it in the basket. When she came back from vacation,
Empty basket. Huh?
empty basket. And everything was smooth. And then she said, she was a chain smoker too. But anyway, she took me outside and she said, Regina, I have to apologize. I said, what? She said, you know, you're good. And she said, I wasn't expecting the baskets to be empty. I thought, because she said, I looked at you and I said, she can't do it. And I thought when I came back, I had a whole lot of work to do. And I just looked at her and she said, I'm so sorry, because now she wasn't used to a person of color. Okay. She didn't grow up with them. Her family, they didn't have nothing to do with us. But I appreciated that she apologized and that she appreciated me.
I'm going to say something about the flag, the United States flag. I'm going to say something about Colin Kaepernick. And the first time I say about Colin Kaepernick is he's owed an apology. He's owed a big time apology. I'm owed an apology. A lot of us are owed an apology because we said in the first place, it's not about the flag. It was about the knee. And isn't it ironic? He went down on one knee. And excuse me, I'm going to call a name right here. That fool went down on a knee too. What was he protesting? The fact that black people get to breathe? Is that what he was protesting? That's what we're angry about. The flag. You people, as you say, that want to talk about the flag every time something comes up, the flag every time something comes up. He was protesting the treatment of people, and people like you, who I'm talking to right now, wanted to still put a piece of fabric over a life, and you thought you were justified. You're only justified in your own head, but in nobody else's head and in nobody else's reality where you justify. And things are happening now because of thoughts like yours. Does that make sense? Many of you, again, are innocent of that, but you were born into a system that was already like that. You were born into a household that was already like that. So, as many things, it's just that this racial issue, this black issue, happens to be the one that is going to tip the scales one way or the other. But the most important thing is that those who are, for this purpose, this conversation are on the other side, meaning black versus white, which I hate that it's like that. It should never be like that because it's got so many people mixed up in it. We have so many people that we know, black and white, and we don't even look at them. We never even talk about
Just as a
the black
person.
and white, and that's the way, that the world is supposed to look. We have to quit that. One more thing. Now, I haven't 100% told you how racism feels. I've given you a little glimpse into it, how racism feels. But there's something else that I think is very, very, very important to get out to concerning what's going on here and what we need to do. We want questions. We want you to ask all the questions you want to ask, okay? Because until you ask those questions, you'll never get them answered because you can't go to some professor of black history unless they're black. You know, anything like that. And they better be one that learned their history because our history is not in the history books. I'm, again, trying to help you understand who we are and how we are. What is the harm in saying, "Oh, some of my best friends are black"? That's so much harm right there. I'm telling you right now. Don't ever tell another black person that. Don't ever tell another black person that. Because it sounds like they might be your best friend, but it sounds like the most patronizing thing in the world. See, because we've been patronized and patronized and patronized and patronized. We are so tired of what I call pacifiers, and I personally am tired of some of my own people accepting pacifiers. I don't care whether your best friends are black or white. That shouldn't matter. You should have never had to say that to me. That's my point.
I know that God wouldn't want us to sit back, and everything that we do, it's for His glory.
We're very, very, very caring about each and every one of you, whether we know you, whether we ever meet you or not. You're still a human being. You're still a part of this God's green earth. We're not going away. We're going to be, we plan to be, we intend to be, we want to be, and we want you to be part of the change.